Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, Arslenbek Makhmudov outboxes Dave Allen to a routine 12-round unanimous decision. Going into this fight, of course, I gave Dave Allen next to no chance. I kind of felt it would be a fight where Dave Allen would soak up a lot of punishment, maybe have the odd flash of success here and there, but I felt he would ultimately be pulled out. But, showed his toughness. One thing we do know about Dave Allen, despite my criticisms of Dave Allen, he does have a very good chin. He is a real durable heavyweight, never been dropped before, and he showed that again in this fight. He showed that he's got durability for days, one of the better chins in the heavyweight division, but outside of that, it's the lack of sustained quality throughout these type of fights, and again, that's what cost him in this bout. Makhmudov, throughout round 1 to round 12, was far more consistent, threw more punches, threw the straighter punches. Whenever there was any distance, Makhmudov would be consistent with his jab and straight right hand, whereas Allen had moments here and there, but, when he did have one of these moments, he never really built on it. He never kind of built any momentum based off of these moments of success. And yeah, Makhmudov, too long, too tall, too big, too good, really. First round, great atmosphere in the arena. Allen soaks up the straight punches of Makhmudov, but shots are getting through the guard of Dave Allen. Scoring shots. Dave Allen does land a good sort of counter left hook in round 1. Kind of knocked Makhmudov off balance. I don't think he was hurt, but it was a good shot by Allen. And that really kind of signalled his only chance to win this fight. And that was to catch Makhmudov when he was overextending. Because, Makhmudov does overextend. He was really kind of falling into some of those straight right hands. So, shots like the left hook were there for Dave Allen. And he did land some here and there. But again, it just wasn't consistent enough. Throughout the early rounds, Makhmudov dominated with the jab, keeping Dave Allen at arm's length. And when Dave Allen got close, Dave Allen was guilty at times of smothering his own work. He was getting too close to Makhmudov. As a result, Makhmudov would tie him up and hold. I'll get onto that in a little bit. But yeah, early on, I felt Allen was standing in front of Makhmudov too much. He was getting outboxed. And when he tried to apply a bit of pressure, he was getting too close. There was a moment in round 4, I think it was, where Allen backed up Makhmudov to the ropes. Best moment of the fight for Allen at this point. Landed a body shot and then followed up with a couple of good uppercuts. Rocked the head back of Makhmudov. Looked really clean, looked really nice. And we know that Dave Allen is capable of these moments of quality where he'll string 3 or 4 punches together and it will look really nice, It will look smooth, it will look composed, And he had some of those moments in the 4th round. Maybe not enough to win the round, but enough to let Makhmudov know that he was there. Didn't build on it though. Next few rounds, Makhmudov was landing the 1-2 at will. Also some uppercuts here and there. There was a moment when he landed like a reverse 1-2. And, really hard right hand followed by a really hard power jab. And Dave Allen did really well just to shake that off. After sort of 6 rounds, Makhmudov was dominating the fight. Makhmudov got a point deducted, I think, in round 7 for holding, and he was holding a lot. Anytime Dave Allen got close and smothered his own work, Makhmudov would just hold him. And he got a couple of warnings prior, got a point deducted in round 7. I thought it was fair enough. Makhmudov responded with a good round 8, actually was looking more fluid, boxing off his back foot. Again, keeping Dave Allen at length, at arm's reach. Dave Allen was kind of just following him around the ring with a high guard. Round 9, though, I think it was round 9 or round 10, I forget. Allen had a really good round for Dave Allen standards. Makhmudov controlled most of the round, but towards the end, Allen landed a real peach of an overhand right. Kind of had Makhmudov a little wobbly. Allen follows up with a series of punches, but they weren't clean enough. They were kind of cuffing shots. Some shots missed. The shots that did land just weren't turned over properly. The shots weren't compact enough up close. Again, he was kind of too close to the target almost. Wasn't giving himself space to find the openings. And, Makhmudov, I don't want to say he was saved by the bell, but the bell came at the right time for Makhmudov. Makhmudov, after that moment, after a good round 10 from Dave Allen, regained composure. And the last 2 rounds, I felt he really kind of took control, to be honest with you, once again. Actually looked like he was throwing harder shots in the last couple of rounds to me, because Makhmudov was boxing, not cautiously, but he wasn't loading up as much as he usually does in this fight throughout the first 10 rounds. He was taking some sting off the punches in order not to gas himself out. But in the last 2 rounds, you could see that Makhmudov was putting more mustard into that straight right hand. And in the last couple of rounds, Dave Allen walked into some big straight rights. To his credit, he walked through them, didn't show any signs of being hurt, although in the post-fight interview, he said that Makhmudov hit like a ton of bricks and he was hurt several times throughout the fight. If that's the case, he put on a really good poker face to hide that. And I think in between rounds 11 and 12, in the corner, Allen basically said that Makhmudov kind of punched it out of him, that he had nothing left, he was shattered. Allen tried to find a big shot in round 12, looping the overhand right like he usually does. He actually caught Makhmudov a couple of times, but no real effect as such. And yeah, Makhmudov saw out the fight and won by a UD. Also got another point deducted towards the end. I think it was round 11 maybe, I forget, but yeah, another point deducted for Makhmudov at the end of this fight. So 2 points taken off, but he was still the clear winner. Couple of moments of success here and there for Allen. I think his biggest issue was, while Makhmudov has the reputation of being an on-top fighter and a fighter who gasses, number one, he was taking sting off his punches, like I said, so that conserved his stamina, but mainly, even when Makhmudov wasn't catching Dave Allen clean, he was still hitting the target, he was still hitting the gloves, he was still hitting elbows and shoulders. So he was still hitting the target, essentially. He wasn't missing as such. And, when that happens, that takes less out of you. When you miss wildly, when you miss the target completely, numerous times, that's when you really start to gas. We saw that against Vianello. We saw that against Caballero. And, they made him not just miss the chin, but also just miss the target completely. And as a result, Makhmudov gassed badly, as well as they both used bodywork in those fights. Allen wasn't making Makhmudov miss to that degree. He wasn't slipping and sliding. He wasn't making Makhmudov miss the target. And also Dave Allen, to me, wasn't as committed to the body as I'd expect him to be. We know the weakness to the body for Makhmudov, but Allen just didn't work the body enough. He had moments here and there, but he didn't work the body enough. Having said that, when you're getting caught upstairs with such hard shots, maybe you can't blame him. Listen, you guys know my thoughts on Dave Allen. I'm not one of his fans by any means. I'm really not. And, throughout Dave Allen's career, I've always felt he could do more in fights. Is this another one of those occasions? I do think he could have done more. But at the same time, it's not the usual Dave Allen lack of effort. So maybe that's a step in the right direction for Dave Allen. Maybe I should take that as a win. I wouldn't say he didn't try at all. Again, he had moments. He tried to pick his spots. I think he just tried to go in there and land a perfect shot to knock out Makhmudov and maybe catch him down the stretch. But yeah, it didn't work. He was outboxed. He was outfoxed. And yeah, Makhmudov won the fight clearly, in my eyes. What happens next? Dave Allen said he wants to continue. I mean, again, he took a lot of shots in that fight. He did. He took a lot of shots. He could come back down to domestic level, but is there any real appetite for it? Maybe. Maybe people are still interested in Dave Allen. Me personally, not so much. I think this was the chance for him. I think this was the chance for him against a heavyweight in Makhmudov who's very powerful but very vulnerable. and he didn't capitalise, you know. I think maybe he should call it a day now. As for Makhmudov, listen, I wasn't all that impressed with his performance. You know, he did the basics, he kept it long, he kept a good punch output, he outpointed Dave Allen. You know, he outpointed Dave Allen, so we can't read too much into it. Any heavyweight who is around the top of the division will beat Makhmudov. And yeah, Dave Allen is just not that guy. He's not that guy. But what's next for him? We shall see. We shall see. He could be in fun fights at a certain level, you know? He could be in fun fights at a certain level. I'll tell you one fight that I wouldn't mind seeing would be Makhmudov versus Bakadir Jalilov. You know, Jalilov needs to step up. He needs a raise in the level of competition. I think Makhmudov would indicate that, would meet that requirement. So, you know, Jalilov versus Makhmudov I wouldn't mind seeing personally, but that's just me. Anyway, what about you guys? What did you think of this fight? Share your thoughts below. Been your guy Delboy. Peace.